Checkpoint is a global cybersecurity solutions company employing over 6,000 members and 3,500 cybersecurity experts. Some of the services they provide include risk assessments, penetration testing, and threat intelligence services. Now, they do this for all kinds of customers and clients, including financial institutions, the federal government, healthcare providers, and educational institutions. As a part of today's video, I'm sitting down with 3 members who work with Checkpoint to talk about their services as well as integrations directly within Cardano. As a part of Project Catalyst, they've got a proposal within the real world partner integrations category, which aims to bring all of their existing services directly into the Cardano ecosystem. So that said, I hope you guys find today's video to be helpful. If you do, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. If it's your first time stopping by and you want more content just like this, breaking down all of the biggest builders and news going on in Cardano, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions or just want to share your opinion, then leave a comment down below. That said, enjoy today's interview. What's up, Beta Nation? Welcome to Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. My name's Fareed. As a part of today's video, we're talking about mass adoption through Project Catalyst for Cardano. Now, that said, we're going to be talking about one of the bigger proposals when it comes to the real world partner and integrations category, where we're going to be sitting down with the Checkpoint team to discuss their funding round 12 proposal, which aims to bring Cardano through the masses through security. That said, we've got some of the biggest contributors to Checkpoint to, number one, learn about what they're doing, but then number two, talk about how they can provide some benefits and exposure to Cardano while also benefiting from Cardano's decentralization as well as Cardano's security. Without any further ado, let me bring up today's guest. First and foremost, we've got Danny Dene, who's one of the leads when it comes to Web3 integration directly into the Checkpoint team. Danny, welcome aboard. How are you doing on this wonderful morning?
Doing amazing. I'm very excited to be here on the show and looking forward to build on Cardano.
Man, thank you for your time. I feel your energy. I'm excited to jump into today's conversation. Next, we've got your CTO, which is Oded. Let me go ahead and bring him up. Welcome aboard. Good morning. How are you doing today?
I'm perfect. I'm always happy to speak about cybersecurity.
Thank you for joining in and lending us your knowledge. Last but definitely not least, we've got Mr. Shay, who's actually been collaborating with other contributors here within the ecosystem, which includes Sunday Swap and Genius Yield, just to name a few. Shay, welcome up. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having us. Excited to be here.
It's a complete pleasure. Now, I want to respect everybody's time today. I want to jump straight on into it. Checkpoint has just come on my radar thanks to Yoram from Andamio. I've just had him on the channel to discuss their Project Catalyst proposals and what Andamio is doing. And what a wonderful way, or what a wonderful example here, right? Which, for anybody who's not aware of Andamio, they're basically aiming to bridge the gap between different builders and networkers within Cardano. So he's done just that. He's connected me with you guys to talk about your Project Catalyst proposal. But before we talk about Project Catalyst and Cardano specifically, I would love to introduce Checkpoint to the general community. So I'll turn it over to anybody here, right, who wants to basically volunteer to break down what Checkpoint is and the value or core services you guys offer to your customers and your clients.
Okay, so I will jump for it. So basically, Checkpoint is a leading cybersecurity company based in California and Tel Aviv, and have offices around the world. We are focusing on creating cyber defense systems that basically covers the entire spectrum of Web2 digital, from cloud, network, and mobile devices. We are more than 30 years in this space, and our focus is only cybersecurity in the defense world.
Thank you for the brief and simple intro there. I'm wondering if Danny or Shay want to add anything else to what you've mentioned there. If not, I'd maybe love to hear a little bit about some of your existing clients and maybe just some of the metrics around how big the actual Checkpoint platform is.
Yeah, I'm happy to discuss the reach and the size. So Checkpoint is a cybersecurity giant. It's a $19 billion market cap company traded on the NASDAQ. We have more than 100,000 clients, usually large enterprises, companies, businesses, and more than 1 million users. So in terms of reach, I think we're one of the largest cybersecurity players out there.
Thank you. If I may just briefly ask, when it comes to what you guys do, is there a particular industry or niche that you guys tend to focus on? And then I want to maybe just kind of steer the conversation towards Web3 and blockchain here in just a moment.
So basically, as I said, we are basically covering the entire spectrum of the cyberspace because we are protecting cyber attacks that coming from digital devices. If the devices are coming from the mobile devices, or the attacks are coming from the cloud, or from the network devices. So we are specialized on creating systems that really protect cyber attack, and the most important, prevent cyber attack. This is like our main objective. Of course, me, I'm coming from the space of the research. I'm more than 21 years in Check Point in the vulnerability research. In my day-to-day, basically, I'm hunting hackers, campaigns, hacker attacks, and this is my day-to-day. We have more than 200 people in Check Point that just focusing on the research. And that means that we are living in cyber warfare. And just like to give you roughly numbers, like every day we are like updating more than 2 billion new malicious indicators that happening in the same day. So so obviously our focus is really on the cyberspace, on the attackers techniques, on the attackers campaigns, and we are creating technologies that are protecting these attacks.
Perfect. I think this is a great segue, maybe into Cardano and Web3. Shay, I know you've worked with other contributors here within the ecosystem. I'd love to maybe hear, why Cardano, and with something as big as Checkpoint, where are you guys aiming to go towards in the future? I know AI has been a big topic, and obviously blockchain has been a big topic as well. But do you guys already have any existing partners in that space? And again, if not, why start with Cardano?
So, I mean, I come from the traditional finance space, and one of my first professional experiences in crypto and blockchain was managing a hedge fund. And one of the most obvious things for me was to see that it's impossible to get the trust of the wider community of the traditional finance, certainly, but other institutional, without a high degree of security. And working with Cardano since Fund 11, essentially, I saw a great fit for a company like Checkpoint to come in. There are certain technical elements in Cardano, the UTXO model, that allow for a more elaborate way of checking for security. And I think the expertise of the team from Checkpoint are going to really be well suited here.
Thank you. I maybe just want to ask from a finance standpoint, could we maybe just get a better understanding of the amount of revenue that something like Checkpoint is able to generate? I really want to send home the impact of a proposal such as this and the onboarding of a partner as big as Checkpoint. So if you guys are able, I'd maybe love to hear a little bit more about, just from the finance side of things, how big Checkpoint really is.
Sure. So basically, from a revenue perspective, we are doing around 2.4 billion revenue per year, and we are standing across the 30 years in margin of around between 40 to 50% each quarter of margin. So we are very wealthy and well-structured company with a lot of cash in the side, more than, in my opinion, around $4 billion cash. And basically, we are what our strategic is to bring benefit and to create real cybersecurity products, and we are honestly just focusing on the cybersecurity space. And in terms of the company, so the company is growing along the 30 years. Is every year or every quarter we are growing. We hopefully we are standing almost double digits in growth in last quarter. Yeah, so basically I just, like as I say, it's like I'm 21 years in Checkpoint, and the company is just like growing since I've been there, and very healthy and working like very well in terms of financial value.
If I may add to the the impact that we believe we can bring to the Cardano ecosystem, we know that many established players, companies, enterprises that want to get into Web3 and to find an ecosystem to deploy and develop and be a part of, very concerned about security. And we believe that Cardano was built with security in mind. But we think there's tremendous value in real-time prevention, as we're doing every day in Web2. And also we believe that our clients and enterprises, companies out there that are looking and are evaluating which ecosystem they would like to deploy their dApps on and develop on, and create this very strong connection with. We believe that having a blockchain secured by Checkpoint would be a huge value add, specifically for companies that appreciate security. And we think that could make a big impact when trying to onboard big clients, financial players, DeFi players, companies that have a lot on the line, and the reputation really means a lot to them. I think those players really appreciate Checkpoint type of security, real-time prevention value proposition.
Nicely said. And that actually sort of touched on something that I wanted to mention earlier, was how closely you guys actually work in terms of clients with financial institutions, right? So Cardano aiming to be the financial backbone for the global networker for the globe. It seems like there could be some alignment on that particular front. Now, we've gone through, I think, what would be a wonderful sort of ground laying session here, better understanding what Checkpoint is, etc. Let's talk about the actual Catalyst proposal now, which is out for the RWI category. That said, would any of you like to volunteer to actually break down what this proposal is? And then I've got a couple of follow-up questions about the actual proposal itself.
Yeah, sure. I'm happy to discuss the proposal. So, generally speaking, our vision, the way we believe blockchain security will unfold, we believe that there's a huge demand for real-time security, as we see in the traditional world in the Web2 space. And we see Web3 protocols, L1s, L2s, developing and evolving. And we believe that eventually L1s, L2s, Web3 protocols, they're going to include a security layer, a security logic. We think that it's definitely something that is required and needed for real world adoption in scale, like massive brands, financial institution, banks. It's like, we think it's eventually there's no other way. And we've seen this unfold in other industries many times before. And we believe that Cardano, as a pioneer in the space, taking strong positions about security, leading things before, like proof of stake, we think that it's could be a great match to be also a pioneer and a leader in that aspect. And specifically talking about the proposal, we proposed something very specific. We'd like a research team to dedicate resources into finding the most common, the most burning, and the most impactful attack vectors, specifically on Cardano. We're reproducing the attacks, we're learning about the attacks, and then we build the checkers that allows us to find this specific attacks in real time. And just like we're opening packets in our commercial firewalls in the internet, we want to open transactions, Cardano transactions on the network in real time, and be able to actually give a verdict about each transaction, whether it's malicious or not. And we tie this all up with a front end, a GUI that it's like a real-time threat intelligence dashboard that shows these attacks in real time, or you can monitor. And we view this as a first step to like deeply integrate into the Cardano ecosystem and get all the way through prevention and like taking down these malicious attacks in real time. But the offer itself of Fund 12 is all the way through the monitoring system. And if you do the proposal, it speaks, very specifically about each step and what we achieve in each step. It's a very specific proposal.
Agreed and well said. I'll leave the link to the official proposal down below for today's viewers if they'd like to get a little bit of a better idea as to what it actually entails. Just to recap from my personal understanding here, it sounds like you guys will be monitoring the Cardano ecosystem, evaluating it in real time to basically prevent any attacks or issues that may come out as a part of that analysis or that monitoring. Now, that said, there's been a recent DDoS attack or a distributed denial of service attack that took place not too long ago. I'd maybe love to hear your guys' thoughts as to how Check Point could play a role in preventing things like that from happening in the future, right? Because again, you've got a set of bad actors basically trying to bring down the entire ecosystem for everybody, right? Giving everybody a poor experience here. Could this have been something that Check Point could have alerted us to had you guys already had monitoring services in the ecosystem?
Yes. So basically, yes, we are monitoring systems in the ecosystem, but I would like to give like 2 minutes brief, like how we came to this, like suggesting and creating the next firewall, prevention firewall for Web3. So as I said, I'm coming from the vulnerability research side, and more than like 3 years ago or 2.5 years ago, we've been like monitoring a state-sponsor campaign attacks on Web3 platforms, and we saw that the state sponsor behind it, it's like North Korea, Iran, and other state sponsor that actually exploiting the Web3 platform, and basically we were not familiar too much with the Web3. However, since we are coming from the network security, since we are like invented the firewall, we once we saw the attacks, we understood that, okay, we see that there is like a huge gap in the security understanding, because all the attacks is just like exploiting software. Eventually, Web3, blockchain, everything is software. It's smart contracts, it's a transaction, it's clients, it's all packets of information that we call it a transaction. And then once we started to learn and understand the huge gap and the attack vector that's available and how hackers are exploiting it, so first decision we took is just like to release a book, and a book just talking about hacking on blockchain and crypto world, where we are like providing hands-on book that really go over the attack vectors. And then I came up with the decision and the idea, since we are like pioneers in cybersecurity and creating a lot of patents all the time to new attacks. I said, okay, I want to develop the next technology that really can take transaction and really can encapsulate them and understand if this is really attack, because eventually transaction is the way to deliver the payloads. It can be a good payload and it can be a bad payload. And in the Web3 ecosystem, every bad payload, the implication immediately are millions of dollars of loss. And the attack vectors are basically simple. It's just like exploiting vulnerabilities on the client side, on the wallet side, or exploiting vulnerabilities on the network side, on the smart contract. So regarding the last DDoS attack, so basically that was like a vulnerability eventually in the logic. Eventually vulnerability that's it's a software vulnerability. And we believe that we can identify these malicious payloads that actually trying to exploit and prevent that. And our system are connected to many blockchain networks to learn threat intel. And we are coming from the threat intel. So basically, we see the attacks, we learn, we have our research army that basically puts a lot of effort. And then once we see the attacks, we immediately understand how to prevent them, how to create technology, how to take all this technology and create it like on AI based. So since we are focusing only on the cyber attack, and we are bringing vast solutions for Web3, because eventually we need to remember that I can attack Web3 platform through Web2 infrastructure, through email, through a malicious website, through other tricks to take him out of the ecosystem and then use to privilege and access. And in the Web2, we are super strong with the solution, and we believe that we can bring the whole package, the entire vision, like to prevent and protect Web2 and Web3, and to kill the entire kill chain of the attack.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I do want to maybe loop Shay in here for a discussion around the second phase of the proposal, right? So we've talked about phase one, which is dealing with the monitoring and the security features that a platform like Checkpoint can provide to the Cardano ecosystem. As Oded and Danny mentioned there, you guys basically sniffing packets, watching and monitoring in order to quickly identify when there's a potential threat, and then hopefully helping to, prevent that from happening in future attacks. Now, the second portion is dealing with a promo aspect to the partnership, right? So Shay, I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you guys plan on doing for that piece. You guys talk about, connecting with builders in the ecosystem, but then also contributing in other ways, which include Web3 conferences, joint marketing campaigns, etc. How do you guys see this unfolding?
Absolutely, a great point. So obviously, the most important part, the first part, is the foundation of everything, and I think everybody here understands that Checkpoint has the expertise to build that threat intelligence. Nobody else has that level of expertise. But once that's done, there are two aspects of it, right? First and foremost is to get the Cardano ecosystem involved, actually from the design phase. So we're already in contact with a few key people in the ecosystem, notably Pi from Sunday Swap, and others like Genius Shield, etc., that will help us design the system and provide the best threat intel possible. So that's, I think, first and most important is to get the whole ecosystem involved in that phase. And then later on, once we produce the system, to get it used, and then we would like to make some workshops, and that will include actors in the ecosystem, notably DeFi platforms, but also some of Checkpoint's predominant clients who they know are interested in Web3 and are looking to deploy Web3 solutions. And once Checkpoint can put a stamp on Cardano and say, okay, we secure this ecosystem, then it will be much easier to get them involved. And this is what we see as actually the biggest value of this proposal in bridging Checkpoint's Web2 clients into the Web3 ecosystem, specifically on Cardano.
Okay, just to make sure here, I'm not sure if there's any more details you can share about that very last piece there. Does that mean that you'll potentially say, hey, because again, you guys already have established set of clients. Does that mean that you could potentially mention Cardano or onboard them directly into Cardano, given your relationship with this particular proposal? Did I understand that correctly?
I can answer that. So what we will do is engage in shared PR and marketing, and that goes through our channels to some of our clients. I think that we'll look for clients that have shared interest, that are looking into getting into Web3, and we're doing some design partnership with some of these clients. But the obligation in the proposal is for the shared PR and marketing. And on that aspect, we plan to be an active partner of Cardano, and we have this system in place. And to add on a little bit about the marketing aspect of the project, for me, as I see it, the importance of the marketing component and the involvement of the ecosystem is to build the best product in terms of value creation for specifically for Cardano builders, Dapp developers, but also, and furthermore, for us the core value proposition for the Cardano ecosystem is we want to make it an easier choice for a real world business enterprise company to build on Cardano versus on another chain, and we want to do it through a security value proposition. We want Cardano to be able to state, with a truthful statement with a lot of backing, with numbers that says, hey, we are a pioneer in Web3 security. We are the most secured in many aspects. And that's because of our shared work with Checkpoint, and with the receipts, with showing how many attacks we catch, and eventually how many attacks we actually prevent. So that value proposition is it's based and rooted on the real world, like the security delivery of the product. But the other part of it is to make it known for whoever is potentially evaluating whether they should bid on Cardano or another chain. And that's where the marketing becomes important. And that's where we plan to be, an active partner. And we believe that, brands, the meaning that companies, big companies, financial sector, other sectors, understand, where you tell them it's a Checkpoint, it's protected by Checkpoint, it's a Checkpoint team, it's Checkpoint research. I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, it definitely does. If you guys have already sort of vouched for Cardano and your clients trust you guys, I think it'd be a valid sort of next path out, right? To see, hey, Checkpoint's already there. They've got the infrastructure. They're monitoring that blockchain. We're already dealing with Checkpoint in Web 2. Why not just follow them into Cardano in Web 3 as well? Now, I'm not sure which of you guys here are the technical ones, but there's one key question that we have not touched on yet that I'm sure every single viewer is wondering about, and that is when and how, right? So I'd love to hear about the team that would be able to put together the monitoring, doing a lot of the research, the team that'll be doing the marketing, and exactly how long will phase one take and how long will phase two take?
Okay, I'll let Oded answer that, and I think Oded will be too modest to say, but Oded hacked protocols like WhatsApp, DJI, and others, so I'll let him answer the question.
So thank you. So basically, we are have a solid team that we are like growing all the time and adding more capabilities in the development world. But basically, we are evolved, or the baseline of the fundamental part of us is the research, where we have like the best researchers that basically speaking every year in conferences like Black Hat and DEF CON, and we did 2 years a workshop about Web3 security, and we published so many articles about every technology almost out there that has like millions of users. So, and as I said, the fundamental is that we are dealing every day with cybersecurity attacks. And once we have this part solid, and Checkpoint is, as I said, 30 years of solid research on cybersecurity. So now, after we have the knowledge and the understanding how to build the threat intel, because we have huge threat intel engines on Web 2. So now we build the threat intel of Web 3 world. So now we are starting to build the layers of the product, because everything is based on the threat intel. And building the layer of the product, we are building or having a team, and we now just growing to have a good teams of DevOps that will be able to be able to provide product that will have resilience, that will have performance, that will have redundancy. And we building a big team of front end that will build the entire experience of the administrators of the networks, and the backend that will create all the logic, all the AI engines, and we know how to produce products. We are like very vast knowledge, and we're producing a lot of products. But we took the Web3 challenge and project that we are building in the last 2 years, and really want to take it to a different level. That from day one we said we need to bring prevention. There is no prevention, and this is what we are going for.
Thank you. Danny, would you like to add anything there?
Yes, specifically for the proposal. The proposal time horizon is 1 year, as instructed in the guidelines for Fund 12. We do believe that technically we can deliver maybe earlier, and we're already starting. The research team is already looking at the Cardano transactions. We're already in touch with key members of, Cardano, like Pi from Sunday. And we're looking at the tech vectors, and we can turn around in a matter of months, is something that is actionable, and you can see the actual timeline in the proposal as well.
Perfect. Again, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to go ahead and check out the links down below for today's video. I do want to quickly go ahead and plug in the fact that it seems like Checkpoint has begun to dip their toes into Web3 already. You guys got some publications out. I'll leave the link to this particular website down below as well. Again, looks like you guys are breaking into a brand new space and trying to do your own due diligence, right? So I think public publishing things such as these really go to show your willingness and your expertise in this particular space. That said, we are at about the 30 or so minute mark. I want to go ahead and respect everybody's time for today's interview. I'd like to maybe just make a way around one more time for any closing thoughts when it comes to just the importance of this proposal, the impact that Checkpoint has had within and outside of Web 2, right? But then just maybe anything that we just may not have covered as a part of today's video. So it's up to you guys, maybe 1 or 2 minutes each. I'd love to get some closing thoughts from you all. So maybe we start with Danny there right above me, and then we'll jump over to Shay, and then Oded will give you the honors to close us off for today's interview.
Okay. So to sum up my thoughts, about 30 years ago, our CEO, founder of Checkpoint, Gil Shwed, invented the stateful firewall, and Checkpoint became one of the pioneers in the cybersecurity market, looking into every packet in the internet, trying to protect users and clients, making the internet a safer place for corporates and real-world businesses. And 2.5 years ago, Oded took up the challenge of reproducing the same achievement in Web3. And what we're trying to do today, what we hope to do with Cardano, is really engage in the same kind of innovation to pioneer Web3 security and make it the gold standard of secure networks so that real-world adoption can take place in Cardano. We want to make it a no-brainer, an easy choice for every company, enterprise out there that truly cares about security to choose Cardano over other networks.
Nicely stated, Mr. Shea. Over to you.
Yeah, so our industry is what, 15 years old now. We're celebrating 15 years old Bitcoin, and this is really a teenager. And I think we're stepping toward maturity, and maturity calls for security. I think if we're talking about real world use cases and adoption, real big enterprises, it's clear that we cannot be the Wild West that we have been for the past 15 years. And I think we can look nowhere else but Checkpoint to give us that stamp of approval and to allow people to have more trust in this ecosystem.
Thank you. Last but not least, Mr. Oded.
Yeah. So cyber threats are real, and basically my vision or my first goal is to bring visibility. For me, the understanding is that security is the real showstopper to take the ecosystem to the next level, to take blockchain as infrastructure to the next level and to the entire decentralized world.
Thank you. I believe that will do it here for today's interview. Again, I want to just thank all of you guys for taking some time out of your busy days to join me here to talk about everything Checkpoint and Cardano as well, right? So I'm extremely happy to hear that you guys are even considering the technology, something as Cardano. For me as a creator, I came into this space and to Cardano specifically because of the security, the decentralization, and the fact that Cardano is trying to do things the right way, which seems to align perfectly with what Checkpoint is doing. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys have found some value out of today's video. I do want to go ahead and just quickly go ahead and just plug in the proposal as well as the official Checkpoint website once more. Check out the description down below. Checkpoint, one of the biggest risk assessment, penetration testing, and threat intelligence platforms here within the world or on a global stage, providing services, right, to financial institutions, retail, different governments, you name it, they cover it. And they're now branching out into Web3, potentially adopting Cardano. So I'm definitely going to be following up with this particular proposal. If this is funded, you guys can definitely bet that you'll be receiving a follow-up email from me to get you guys back on the channel to track the development and the implementation of your guys' proposal. That said, that will bring us to the end here. Huge thank to Yorm from the Andamio team for putting me in contact with the Checkpoint team. For you, the viewer watching at home, if you found any portion of today's video to be helpful, I would appreciate you if you could smash that thumbs up. Not only does it help to get this content out to other members within Cardano, it also helps to keep the existing community updated. If you want more content just like this, talking about the biggest builders here within the ecosystem, consider subscribing. And last but not least, if you have any questions for myself, Oded, Dan, or Shay, as it pertains to their Project Catalyst 12 proposal, then make sure to leave a comment down below. That said, and as always, we'll see you guys in the next video.